Hello everybody, welcome to our Murder Island episode 6 reaction video. And we are here with Jen and John Wedger, who spent 25 years in the police. So he's an absolute expert on police procedures, etc. If you are not familiar with Murder Island yet, it is so gripping you will get sucked into the plots as you try to guess who killed Charlie. Charlie was a woman who came to the island 8 weeks pregnant. She had some strange relationships with some of the occupants of the island that we've found out about over the series that are suspect. And the whole premise is 4 pairs of contestants have come in for the £50,000 prize. They have been vying off against each other and it's down to the final 2 now in episode 6. So no one else is going to get disqualified. The question is, will they solve the murder of Charlie? There is Hamish, who's been the red herring, who, when Charlie came to the island, she fell in love with the postmistress. They entered a lesbian relationship, but the postmistress had Hamish lurking in the background, the psycho ex who feels he's still with his partner. He was seen shaking Charlie. Then we had the drugs theme come in the middle episodes, whereby a drug shipment comes, some of the drugs are missing, some drugs are found in the landlord's property that Charlie was living at. And did the landlord have sex with Charlie prior to her coming to the island? And his wife, the innocent school teacher, do this to her to make sure that the baby was not going to be delivered. Then we have, is it Logan and his mum?
Logan and his mum, yeah. His mum, what's her name?
Evidence against them has been building up, hasn't it?
Yes, but still, I think it's too obvious.
Too obvious. Okay. Do you have any new ideas for this episode?
Well, I do indeed. So, 1 minute, it's on my paper. So,
and please put in the comments what you think who your suspects are as well.
So this is actually a comment I've stolen. Well, a theory I've stolen off one of the comments, and it is Gregor, who is Logan's dad. That's his dad's name. So the theory is that
The dead dad.
The one who's missing, he went
Oh,
missing.
he's missing off.
Yes, he hasn't.
At sea.
Yes, they haven't found him. So what if he didn't die and he came back and murdered Charlie? Who knows? We'll see.
All right, we'll start the episode then. Let's stick it down here.
My name is Bobby.
So, what you said is happening. They just said they're putting Sonia higher up the list. And you've just seen, John, like an array of all the possible suspects there. Yeah. Is it too early yet, or do you have any inclination?
Well, I mean, because I've come into this blind, and sometimes, especially when you're dealing with crimes against children, it's best to know nothing about it, especially when you're interviewing them, because you can't coerce, you know. And they found that with the Rachel Nickel murder. That was totally blighted by this single-tracked approach by the senior investigating officers. It's Colin State, it's Colin State, it's Colin State. And it wasn't, you know. So sometimes it's best to come in. Now, what I'd look at straight away as an investigation, the body is a crime scene, right? And you always think forensic, you know. So you've got to look at how the body was laid, where the injuries were, and you can determine a bit more about who's done it through that, you know.
Well, she was stabbed in her abdomen.
And she's pregnant.
Yes.
You know, so there could be a connection there with an attack on the baby. Mm-hmm. You know, this is where the inexact science of people like Corinne Hutzterbart are very good, you know. But again, they've blighted investigations in the past because they are just opinion. Now, Corinne has just helped catch the biggest serial killer in France. He'd murdered 9 children, and in 2003 she told him exactly who it was. She said, this is a guy who's a police detective, and he's going to be in this area of Paris and all that. And she worked it out because that's how, it wouldn't be a uniform officer, it will be a detective, and he would have used his position to coerce and get in. And from that, she can work out exactly where the body was taken, you keep them in the and also shadows. But also, you've got to look at objectification. So, how the body was laid. Was it laid down with dignity, or was it laid down with no dignity at all?
It was just sprawled. She was sprawled out on the floor, sort of in a prawn shape.
Yeah, so you can determine a lot on how the body is laid, you know. Sometimes some people, they'll sort of put the body as a last sort of thing of dignity, you know.
No, she wasn't laid like that.
But also what you've got to look at is the victim, right? And as I was a family liaison officer, and you must know how a person lives. If you know how a person lives, you know how they die. And that is it. And that is the key essence of a family liaison officer. They are an intelligence source. They get into the family and they find out exactly how that person lives. So I would concentrate on the victim, know as much as I could about the victim. And again, suspects, well, you know, if you've got, I don't know how many suspects, one by one, they should be brought in and interviewed. Now, they've got the right to make no comment, which is okay, but inferences can be drawn. Why would you make no comment? So I would be very interested in the interviews, what people say on the interviews, how they behave. And with this level of crime, you're going to get specialist interviewers coming in that are well trained in non-leading questions, and they will have what they call tier 5 overviewers. So they have someone monitoring the person as they're being interviewed, and through there the non-verbals and everything else will sort of show little gateways.
Well, Kerry Danes last week was saying you've got to look at the body language from the waist down is more important.
Yeah, I mean one of the biggest misnomers when they say people that they're crossing their arms and it's defensive, but it isn't, because if it can be, but if you've been sexually abused, you protect yourself. You know, you wrap a blanket around yourself, an emotional blanket, and you do that like that. So it's not necessarily an indicator, you know. So when you look at the interview of someone like Levi Belfield, for example, go back and watch that. It's very good watching his body language, and you can see the psychopathy in this person. So, yeah, I'd say for me, be looking at the victim, how the victim lived. That'd be primary thing, and then one by one, piecing it together and interviewing people, and then searching addresses and things like that, you know.
Thanks, John. And if you are watching this, let us know in the comments what you think. And also at the end of this video, towards the end, we're going to be showing you the mobile phone app. You can go online, go to Murder Island and solve murders using this app.
So, no, actually, I'll stop you there. So, Shaun, before we go any further, who is your main suspect now?
Oh, it's like every episode, they've swung you in a certain direction. But then the next episode, you go in a completely different direction. But I think what you said about Sonia...
I think that's going to the top now.
Because he was an ex-cop, wasn't he? The one who just dropped the hint that she's high up in his estimation. Mm-hmm. So it's like all the horses have been running and now she's coming up on the outside. She's coming up on the outside. Sonia, the school teacher.
I think it's sold.
You might have nailed it like 3 episodes ago. Are they messing this interview up, John? Would you have done things differently?
No, she's good, and she's asking straight questions. The first question you ask, did you kill so-and-so? You know where you stand, right? And then from there, you can embellish. Well, if you're making no comment, and then you'll turn around and say, I'm going to carry on asking questions. Whether you make no comment or not, I'm going to carry on. It's entitled. But you've got to explain the process. And you can really, really, really get into someone. Because when someone makes no comment, they're not defending themselves. So legally go in there. See, where they fall down, and this is down to lack of experience, is when the solicitors intervene. It's a confidence thing. Solicitors are very, very confident. They know whatever a solicitor says, it ain't up to him to stop an interview, you know, and they'll say this is oppressive. You've just got to ignore them. There are some solicitors, their tradecraft is to totally and utterly do the legs of the officer, you know, and they'll attack them. There was one in particular in London, a lady, and again, she was very good at antagonising. And of course, you lose it then, you know. So you just got to ignore them. You stick on it. I mean, I've interviewed people 8 hours in one hit, you know. I mean, the woman, she got her on the ropes there. She's showing emotion, go for it. There's a trigger there. There's obviously something going on with a marriage. There's a problem there. I would go straight in there. And just say, look, well, let's talk about your husband. So everything is a topic. So the husband is a topic. Just keep talking about your husband. You know, what was he like? What was your marriage like? And boom, boom, boom. And structure your questions. Preparation. Always about preparation, you know. And that's what you must do. I would never write questions down, but I would know the topic inside out. But she shouldn't have stopped then. She should have just carried on. She had emotion there. Go with the emotion.
But couldn't the solicitor have stopped it, though?
No, he's got no power to stop it.
No.
None whatsoever, because under what grounds? There was one of the main things they say, this is oppressive, right? Well, a stated case is, it was a case with the Welsh Constabulary where they asked the same question 300 times. And it was still deemed in the court not to be oppressive. So the fact that you repeat a question doesn't make it oppressive. So I think that's the lines he was going down. He's obviously, I think that is a real solicitor in it.
I think so.
Yeah, because you can tell by his stance. And his job is to protect his client, and rightly so, you know. You can't have it all your own way. But the no comment, I personally loved the no comment. I was an expert in the no comment. And because they're not defending themselves. So I'd say things like, well, you're saying no comment, so you're not defending yourself, so let's assume you stabbed her. Why did you stab her? And they're like, well, no comment. Okay, how did you stab her? For what reason? And then what you do is you go through all the statutory defences, right? So there are statutory defences. Was this a case of self-defence? Was you under duress? Blah, blah, blah. Are you mentally ill? So what you're doing is you're closing all the legal doorways because, as the caution says, something which you later rely on in court if you do not mean to when questioned. Yeah. So you must give them a chance to ask when questioned in the interview. And at the court, if they refuse to, you ask for an inference to be drawn and say, actually, hang on a sec, we opened that door in the interview, she refused to account for it, we must think that now that further down the line in court that this woman is now accounting for it, she's used that time to formulate defence and she's a liar. And this is how you do, and you told them that. I'm going to be applying to the court that an inference is drawn into your honesty, you know, and then you look at also mitigating circumstances and excuses, legal excuses that, okay, they're not lawful excuses, but they're legal excuses. So that's how you, bit by bit, and you go through the whole process. So you structure the interview and you work out all your topics. So the scene, the area is a topic, the person is a topic, what she's doing is a topic, and talk about her. And I'd start by saying, well, let's talk about you, you know? Let's talk about your life. And then that's it. Go through it like that. But there's definitely something going on with a husband, without a doubt there, you know? Because the emotion's there. Bang, 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 bang. The other lad is a bit early to tell. He's very morose, his head's down. And previous convictions, very, very important. Bring up previous convictions. And you can, it's not bullying, but this is a game you're in. It is a battle, you see. And of course, what do you want to do? You want to put a killer behind bars for the murder of a woman and obviously another guy and an unborn baby. So, you know, it is a battle, you know, and it's not for the faint-hearted. So, she was, that lady there, she was doing good, very impressed. And that question when she said, did you kill her? I was like, brilliant. That was burning question. Bang, straight away. But she shouldn't have stopped. She should have kept going, got them on the ropes, keep going. Boom, boom, boom. Stop when you want to stop. You take control. The tail does not wag the dog. And now the solicitor's taken control. Yeah. And that's not a good sign. So
wow.
Can I just intervene quickly? I don't want to be boring here. Right. So with an interview, right, you don't challenge straight away. You should never ever challenge straight away. You can build up a rapport, you know. Once you challenge, any rapport has gone, right? You're now calling them a liar, and that's that. So, for instance, I was one of the interviewing officers in the Baby P case, you know, and again, you know, I interviewed the mother on one of the occasions, and you could see there that I did challenge her, but at the very end of the interview, and then you saw a different side of her come out, boom. But initially, I went along, because certain characters will want to talk, right? Narcissistic people will want to talk. And so what you have to do, don't put yourself above them, okay? I would always put myself below them. My tradecraft was that I always come across as stupid. I was always unkempt. I would make out that I was worn out, I was tired, and I hadn't read the paperwork. But what they didn't realise is I knew it inside out.
How clever.
Yeah, and especially with sex offenders, always put yourself below them, you know, never put yourself above them. So, but again, she shouldn't be challenging at this stage. She should be trying to establish the facts, the commission of the crime at the end of it, and then at the end of the interview is the challenge stage of the interview, and that's where you go for it, and you sum up as well. So the moment she's dealt with something about her husband, I would then be summing up, right? I asked you about your husband, I asked you about your relationship, you refused to tell me about it, you refused to tell me if you was happy in your relationship, you refused to tell me if you had love in your relationship, we're assuming it wasn't a happy relationship, we're assuming, boom, boom, boom. Tell me now, am I right, am I wrong? No comment. Right, if you now go to court, you bring up the caution again, it's a bit like when you get a credit card, terms and conditions apply, who reads them? No one. But legally, the moment you sign, you're contractually obliged. The caution is very important. You do not have to say anything. It is your legal right to make no comment. However, whatever you do say, how's it go? You don't have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not answer when questioned, right? And what I say to them, my side is the prosecution, yours is defence. Your defence is going to be damaged if you don't take this opportunity. In court, it's too late. And also, you'll be looking at articles found on people. You know, what articles were found on that person, and ask them to account for the articles. So, she was good. You know, this lady here, I can't remember her name, Rich's wife, Sarah, started off brilliant, but she needs to go back with a more dogmatic approach. And again, the old man, is taking notes, bang on.
Yeah.
His job is to take notes and to see what she misses and cover them. You can't have two, you know. Can't have two. She's a lead, she's got to stay with the lead, but keep her composure. But she's been put off by the solicitor. And he's doing a good job, that solicitor. I'd have him. I think I would, you know.
Tell us the truth.
Do you think they're going to admit to the murder of Gregor, but not Charlie?
Yeah. I was thinking that.
Definitely.
You can see with that lad, there is a lot of emotion there. That's where I would be steaming in. He would really need to be absolutely mauled, that lad. It sounds horrible and it sounds dogmatic, but that's the game you're in. You know, you've got to go for him. Totally and utterly go for him. Her questioning style is very good. Tell me. An open question. Tell me, explain, describe, show. They're the only questions, and she's getting there. And again, with a woman, emotional levers, and she's getting in there. Very, very good, you know. I like it.
Let's see.
What she needs to do, really, is get her to take ownership of what she said and go through a bit-by-bit account of exactly what happened. And then that will formulate her mitigation for the court, you know. And it's going to be manslaughter, and she might walk, you know.
She might walk.
Yeah, she could do, because she's got a lawful defence, you know, self-defence. There's a defence of instant arming, you know. So if you grab whatever's nearby, you know, and you're in genuine fear of your life and you use it, then again, she can walk. She could walk.
It's different in America, though, isn't it? Wild woman was saying about that case of a woman on death row where...
She left the room to get a weapon.
Yeah, that's not instant arming, you see. There's premeditation there, and there's a thought process, and there's two things, right? Actus rea and mens rea. Right? Actus rea is that physical element of doing it, that instantaneous, instinctive element. Mens rea is the intention. And our legal system is based on intention, right? At no point did any of them set up to conspire to kill the dad, the husband. They didn't.
No.
You know, there's years and years of them being eroded, being oppressed, being frightened. You know, the bloke is a tyrant, and he's, you know, and she needs to now go back and do this woman a favour and get the whole history of their life together, you know, because in many ways she is a victim of horrendous domestic violence. Yeah. And use that interview as an opportunity to do that, because an investigator's job is not just to go towards a suspect, it also is to go away from a suspect. You know, when they go towards, this is what happened with Colin Stagg, when clearly it was Robert Napper and things like that. So, you know, she needs to do the right thing now. And, of course, that lad, interview him. I would then get him to draw out exactly what happened, and that could corroborate it, you know. So, and then that's it. And put that before a court. I don't think bail would be an issue. I think they can be bailed, the both of them.
Then they can focus on who killed Charlie.
Yeah. I mean, I personally will be getting her medical record and all that, because you don't know if she could have a lot of mental health problems, and she could have done it before and things like that. Do you know what I mean? You'd have to ask a lot of people in their community, because again, you can't really take. She could be using that defence, you know. So
now they're going to prove that he was on the computer from his computer, and then they're going to have to go back to square one.
Unless he wasn't on his computer.
He was.
But the other thing you've got to look at, did he kill his father and the mother's covering for him? Do you know what I mean? Because I remember I had a case of a child that was battered to pieces, and the boyfriend admitted to it, where it was the mother who did it. So it does happen, do you know what I mean? So people do lie. So it's, you know, it's checkable facts, provable lies. And you've got to look at that. Are they lying? Are they colluding? She's obviously the stronger character. He's weak. Now, it could be that he actually killed the father. So I'd really have to get the ins and outs. Exactly where did you stand? Who stood over who? And it could be that what he's done is premeditated. He's actually gone in there and he's conked that. So I wouldn't be too satisfied with her omission at this stage.
Because they've got to figure out who killed Charlie.
Charlie, yeah. Again, but it's not clear cut at this moment with the death of the father. You know, she admitted to one thing, and not the other thing. With the computer, will take a while. I think that these people need to be bailed, to get them out to stop that custody clock running up, because that's going to take ages to download the computer. You get a lot from that. The mobile phones, you can cell site them. You can put someone on the scene phenomenally well now, you know. I mean, murders are solved by mobile phones now, you know, and that's that. It's one of the biggest sort of things that the police go into now: CCTV and mobile phones.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just not sold on them doing it.
Another red herring. So there's not much left now. What's going to happen?
Well, yeah. There's only 20.
So if they don't get it, are we going to have? Is the murder going to be just revealed?
I hope so.
Okay. Otherwise, they can't just leave us hanging.
Yeah.
Are they the last two suspects?
Yeah.
Them two.
No, well, these are the last two contestants, but there's a whole range of suspects. Right. All those people they showed us at the very beginning of this episode were the suspects.
Well, it looks like there is one murder that they've near enough solved here anyway. Stroke manslaughter.
Give them 10 grand for that, 20 grand for that.
Am I right in saying that Charlie was having a lesbian affair?
Yeah.
Yeah, with the postmistress, who's Hamish's...
And she's pregnant.
Charlie was pregnant.
By who?
She was doing IVF with her ex-partner.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Have they ruled out a crime of passion with the lesbian lover? Is she in the frame?
From the get-go, she had a psycho ex who was seen shaking Charlie outside of a town meeting. The lesbian lover's not been ruled out, has she?
But that Sarah and Richmond aren't focusing on her. They proper swarmed in on Chris. Is it Chris?
Because it's usually the partner, isn't it, or the ex-partner?
Yeah. Crimes of passion, you know. A lot of domestic murders account for most murders, so, you know. There's people who know them. It's very rare, you know, that someone doesn't know them.
And is that usually when it's a male partner? Is it less when it's...
No, there's a lot of gay murders.
Is there?
Yeah. I've been to quite a few gay murders, and there's quite a viciousness to them as well, you know. Okay. So, you know, and when women don't murder, there is, especially when women are sexually abused, there's a level of spite that you don't get with men. You get a very enhanced level of spite with it. Okay. So
I am to believe a woman did this crime. Yeah. The thing is, there's no concrete evidence against her, Ishbel. It's pure speculation.
The wound in the abdomen, why would Ishbel do that?
Well, she didn't like the idea of lesbians being together, did she? She said it was like ungodly or something.
But to kill a baby, isn't that...
Yeah.
That would be a bridge too far, wouldn't it? I don't think they've got any evidence. They've got evidence for the murder of
Yeah.
For the dad, even though it's not clear who's really done it. They're basing it on an admission, and that really isn't enough. But I can't see any evidence for Charlie there. I can't see any at all. But bear in mind, the highest threshold in the world, beyond all reasonable doubt. You know, there is, so there's too much doubt there. So I don't think the prosecution will allow.
I think they'll throw it out.
I'm going down to Sonia or the postmistress.
Sonia. Ooh. So we're all saying no.
It was the her, but that doesn't mean anything, doesn't it?
Well, you do know Logan used to be a peeping Tom.
Right.
And he'd peep in at Charlie, so it could have transferred from there.
And not only that, hair can be put on a scene. DNA that was one big problem with it. You could flick a fag butt through a letterbox at a burglary scene, so DNA can put there. But yeah, so I think the arrows point more towards Logan being involved than it does another.
Porn.
But he said that thing, didn't he? I've done something bad, but.
No, that was him admitting it on the dictaphone. That's why he said I've done something bad.
Right. I don't know. I don't think the mum is. Say she's a Christian woman. You know, she believes in life and not death, and she's probably a fiery woman. You know, a protected woman, but murdered.
Do not forget that God is all around.
Long-suffering woman. You know.
And knows all. You cannot turn away from God.
This is my son. I'm listening. I'm listening to all of you. Get the fuck out of my house.
Oh. Well, you did say it was a woman, didn't you?
Well done. Well done, Richmond and Sarah, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't quite believe it.
I was convinced it was going to be Sonia or the postmistress. So fooled me. Well done, Ian Rankin, for fooling us.
Yeah, but you said it was a woman, didn't you?
Yeah.
You know, the spitefulness, you know. And all that, but
She must have not known she was pregnant then. I don't think she did.
Oh, she wasn't off at that point?
No.
So that was another misleading clue, wasn't it? The injury in the abdomen.
so she's 2 murders to her.
But she's got a history.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I said earlier, find out what her history is, you know. Has she got previous?
Taste for blood.
Yeah, she's on it now, isn't she?
Yeah. Thank God they caught her.
And I just couldn't breathe.
Well, they're 50 grand better off, aren't they?
And we were rooting for them from the very beginning.
Well done, you know. Very thorough. Oh, there you go.
And that was the last episode. Hope you enjoyed it. And Jen is now going to show you how you can go to Murder Island on your mobile phone using the app. Let's pull the app up. There it is.
I'll get that up on my phone. So it directs you to murderisland.channel4.com. So like Richmond and Sarah, you can solve your own murder. Yeah. So it takes you on to DCI Simon Hardin. Hey, I know you were here already some time ago. What did you want to do? And I can choose from to start where I left or start detective training. I think I'm going to restart. Oh, he's calling me again. Sorry, 2 secs.
So, you're the new recruit. Well, I'm Detective Chief Inspector Shaun Attwood. There's been a murder on the Isle of Hershire, and we're going to need an extra pair of hands to help solve the case. But before we do, you'll need to finish your training. We've pulled together some historic cases for you to solve. I'll be there every step of the way, providing the skills you need to solve the biggest mystery this island has ever seen.
Wow.
Good luck. You're going to need it.
And the link for the mobile app is at the top of the description box below the video if you want to go to Murder Island, solve your own murder. Let us know in the comments, did you get it? At least we guessed the winners.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got half of it right. So, did you guess the winners? Did you guess it was Ishbel? Let us know in the comments. Would you look forward to another season of Murder Island?
So where's the gingers?
What did you think of it?
Yeah, good. You know, very thorough. I mean, the police advisors were good. The solicitors were good. Very lifelike scenarios, without a doubt. You know, the interview scenes were very, very lifelike. But yeah, the plot, I don't know, is a little bit, you know, but I wouldn't have put it down to her, to be honest.
No.
You know? I thought it was her son. Yeah. You know, but anyway, it was good. Yeah, very. You know, but I hadn't watched any of it, so we just got the last bit. But the procedure. Yeah, bang on.
It was gripping from the start to the finish, to be fair.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. So, I'm gutted about Sonia.
And this is really ironic, because at the moment, I'm working with someone and we're actually making murder mystery games. And very similar. Dead woman. I can't believe it. You know, 6 suspects, someone dead, and then piecing it all together. So we're in the process of writing one. Yeah.
Well, thanks for being with us, John.
No, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks, Jen, for doing the whole 6.
Check out the app.
See ya.